Stay with me to understand the process and to get access to a prayer that has already helped many people. Have you noticed that you handle chaos better than care? When everything's falling apart, you show up. When someone finally shows up for you, or when the raise lands or the rest day arrives, you feel wrong, guilty, as if you're not allowed to have it. One reason: your nervous system learned what was normal in your world. If chaos and effort were normal, and care was rare or risky, the body knows how to run in crisis mode better than in receive mode. So it's not that you're broken, it's that receiving never got to become safe. Yet picture this. She'd wanted financial stability for years. She got there. She could save, breathe, stop panicking. Then she started giving large sums to family without limits, and swinging between resentment and guilt. If she had more and didn't share, she felt she was betraying her roots. If she shared without limits, she felt depleted. The guilt wasn't about the money. It was about who she's allowed to be when she has more. That pattern has a name. In this video, we'll call it the guilt of expansion, the discomfort, and sometimes the sabotage that shows up when life actually starts going well. This video is about why that happens and what to do in the exact moment it hits, not the fear of failure. The other side: discomfort with success, with deserving, with expansion, and a simple structure you can use when the trigger fires. Before we start, this does not replace therapy or professional support. If guilt or trauma is overwhelming your life, what we'll do here is a practice of awareness and repositioning, not a substitute for clinical care. You wanted the promotion, rest, to be seen, to have more. When it came, you felt guilt, the urge to downplay it, give it away, or undo it so things felt normal again. Not a character flaw, often a protective mechanism that once made sense. We'll look at where it comes from, how to spot it, and how to respond when it fires. If two or more of these fit, you're in the right place. Uneasy when good things happen. Downplaying wins. Sabotaging when it gets too good. Guilt when you rest, earn more, or put yourself first. We're exploring the mechanism and a way to relate to it differently. Central idea once. For many people, the problem isn't only fear of failing. It's discomfort with succeeding, with receiving, with being the one who has more, rests, is seen, is loved well. That discomfort becomes guilt, or the urge to undo the good. We're calling that the guilt of expansion. Why would the mind or body do that? Your system learned what normal is, how life is, who you are, what you deserve. When you exceed that, more money, rest, love, visibility, you're touching identity and belonging. Sometimes invisible loyalties. Louise Hay pointed to the link between what we believe we're allowed to have and what we actually allow. If deep down you don't believe you're allowed to have more, or that having more means betraying someone, your reactions will align. You get the raise and feel guilty. You get the love and find a way to leave. The guilt isn't random. Unpacking that is the work. And it doesn't mean you're broken. It means there's a layer that still runs on an earlier rulebook. You can update it. One of the most useful ways to understand this is the idea of invisible loyalties. In psychology, and in the work of people like Gabor Mate, we see how we can stay loyal to the pain, the limits, or the story of our family or our past, without knowing it. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow and of how we can carry what we don't acknowledge. In a similar way, we can carry loyalties we never named, to a role, to a level of suffering, or to the fear of outgrowing our roots. As long as we stay small, we stay one of them. We don't outgrow, we don't leave anyone behind. We don't become the one who made it, while others didn't. So when life starts going well, guilt can be the mind's way of saying you're stepping out of line. You're leaving the tribe. You're betraying the story we've always told about who we are. Growing can feel like leaving. Receiving can feel like betraying. The content varies, and money, rest, love, visibility. The mechanism is often the same. Another layer is self-image. Maxwell Maltz described it as a thermostat. If your deep sense of what you're allowed hasn't updated, guilt can be the signal that brings you back to the level that feels like you. The work is to let the thermostat shift. Joe Dispenza adds, the body and brain prefer what they know. When you step into something new, they can respond with anxiety or guilt, not because the new is bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Moving through guilt is repetition, letting the new experience happen again and again until it starts to feel like an option. Time and consistency, not one breakthrough. Guilt when life goes well shows up in specific situations. When you earn more, rest, put yourself first, are happy while someone else suffers, are seen, receive healthy love, or break an old pattern. The woman at the start, giving money without limits, then resenting and feeling guilty, is one thread. The pattern repeats wherever having more or being more touches belonging or identity. 3 signs. You downplay or hide good news. You feel relief when something goes wrong because it feels more familiar. You create distance when things get too good. If one or more fit, you're in the guilt of expansion. You're not doomed, you're in a pattern many people carry. One distinction that builds credibility. This is not the same as real moral responsibility. Real guilt is when you've harmed someone or broken a value you hold. The guilt of expansion is different. It's the discomfort that fires when you haven't done anything wrong. You've just received, rested, or grown. Your system is reacting to the fact that something good happened, not to an actual transgression. Learning to tell the two apart is part of the work. If you hurt someone, own it and repair. If you're feeling guilty for having something good, that's the pattern we're working with. Another, guilt versus healthy caution. You left a bad relationship. Now someone good shows up, consistent, respectful, and you feel wary. Is that sabotage or prudence? Prudence is, I'm going slowly because this is new and I'm learning. The guilt of expansion is, I don't deserve this, so I'll test them or create distance until it feels normal again. The first protects you while you open. The second keeps you from ever opening. Telling them apart matters. Another distinction, generosity versus self-abandonment. Generosity is giving from overflow because you want to. For example, choosing to help a sibling because you love them, not because you're afraid they'll resent your success. Self-abandonment is giving so you don't have to feel you've outgrown someone. You hand over money or time to keep the old balance, and you end up depleted and resentful. The first is sustainable. The second keeps you tied to the guilt of expansion. You can love people and still let your thermostat shift. You don't have to wait for guilt to hit and then react. Use this structure every time. Trigger, body reaction, mental story, new response. Triggers, notice when guilt appears after a win, rest, praise, a boundary, or receiving something good. The situation is your data. Body, guilt often shows up in the body first. Tight chest, not in the stomach. Urge to make yourself small or give something away. When you notice it, pause. One long exhale, feet on the floor or a hand on your chest. You're signaling the nervous system, I'm here, I can stay with this a little longer. Thoughts right after come the scripts. I don't deserve this. I'm being selfish, I should give it back. Name them. There's the thought that I don't deserve this. You don't have to believe them on autopilot. New response, in that gap, choose. Stay with the good thing a few seconds, say inwardly, I'm allowed to have this. I don't have to give it away to prove I'm good. You're not fixing the pattern in one go. You're building a new response, one moment at a time. Minute by minute example. She gets the text. We're giving you the promotion. Trigger, good news. Body, chest tightens, shoulders drop forward, urge to text back, it's not a big deal or we'll see. Mental story. If I celebrate, they'll think I'm full of myself. My sister never got this, I shouldn't have more than them. She could deflect, share the news with a joke or say nothing. Instead, she pauses. One breath. Names it. There's the guilt. There's the story that I can't have this. New response. She doesn't reply to the message for 10 seconds. She doesn't post it or hide it. She just doesn't correct the good. When she does reply, she doesn't add a disclaimer. Later, she can share or not. In that moment, she's training. Receiving is allowed. That's the structure. Use it the next time the trigger fires. Checklist. One situation where guilt appears when things go well. One physical sensation, one recurring thought. If you have at least one, you're in the work. If guilt is constant or tied to trauma, reach for a therapist. This is a practice of awareness and repositioning, not a replacement for deeper healing. Awareness alone can leave you watching the pattern without a way to shift it. So here's a short practice, a moment of release and repositioning. Use it when guilt shows up or as a daily reset. You can treat it as a prayer, a declaration, or a meditation. Take a breath. I now release myself from all guilt, fear, and invisible loyalties that keep me from receiving, sustaining, and expanding. What is not mine returns to its origin. What is truly meant for me finds me with ease and grace. Everything comes to me in happiness, joy, and glory. Use this when guilt gets loud and once a day or in the moment. One micro application now. Think of one good thing that happened recently. If guilt appears, say, I'm allowed to have had this. I don't have to give it away to prove I'm good. a few breaths. If this prayer has already helped you, come back here and leave your testimony in the comments. It helps others to hear how it landed. When something good happens, don't correct it immediately. Let it land for a few seconds. Name the guilt without obeying it. And for 1 week, notice where this pattern shows up. 1 line per day. When did guilt appear after what? Dieter, no judgment. By day 7, you have a clearer picture. That's how belonging stops depending on staying small. 1 sentence when guilt gets loud. Having this doesn't mean I'm leaving. It means I'm changing and I can still love. When you slip, don't add more guilt. Notice and choose again. If the weight is too much, reach for a therapist. This is practice, not a substitute. Objections in one place. Won't I become selfish? Receiving doesn't require harming anyone. You can have more and still be generous. My family sacrificed. If I have more, isn't that ungrateful? Gratitude and guilt aren't the same. You can honor their sacrifice without staying at their level. You can love them and still let your thermostat shift. Next time something good happens, see if you cannot correct it. 10 seconds is enough to start changing what your system calls allowed. Save this video. Come back to the prayer or the structure when guilt shows up. If this prayer or the process has helped you, leave your testimony in the comments. It helps others. I'll see you in the next video.